name? Hey, I think we're live.
Oh, cool. Hey, friends.
Let's see it pop up in the group here. There it is.
Cool.
And welcome. We're using a different software today. So as you get in here, let me know that you can hear us and that you can see us. It looks like we're doing okay.
Yeah. Bunch of people are already on. What's up, friends?
All right. Cool. So first of all, if you're new to the group, welcome. Again, we're using a new software, so we're a little bit late today. This group is designed primarily for business owners, actually entirely for business owners. And really to cut through the fluff, the BS, we want to focus on two things. That's profit, productivity. And what that means is everything we're doing is profitable and or as productive as possible. Productive meaning getting you as close to the life that you want, not just checking stuff off a list, but everything we do, we got to get closer to the life that you want. And so we're always focused on identifying the limit to scale and removing it as efficiently as possible. And what happens when we identify a limit is if we cannot provide the resources to help you resolve that limit or remove that limit, it's not terribly useful. So every Monday and every Wednesday, every Friday, we come live and we bring some of the best in the world at what they do to help you work through some of the stuff you've been dealing with. One of the things Justin does, every Wednesday we're here. Justin is phenomenal at social proof, phenomenal at video, phenomenal at all things that really what I would say, Justin, is like the skill that you have is that you understand human psychology. And what makes your social proof so effective compared to whatever the hell other people are doing, which is what I used to do, is it's similar to the best I could think of is you know the book Profit First.
Mm-hmm.
It explains really well. And I'm not the biggest fan of Profit First, but I love the idea, the way he explains it. Like line by line accounting makes sense on paper, but that's not really how our brains work, which is why it's not always successful when we budget, with an Excel sheet. And what you do is you take social proof and the whole marketing, sales, the whole buying cycle, as well as the fulfillment and the retention. And you build it in a way that is aligned with the way people actually make decisions that change their behavior. And you made a post about that today, and I just thought it was a great thing to jam on, like how the human psychology of how people actually look for stuff, find stuff, and then make buying decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. I did do all those things, Nick. Mm-hmm. Hey, I just want to say, hey, Daryl, I see you in the chat. If you're here, let us know. No creep in anonymously. We want to know who's here. And also, like, what do you do? Because on these Social Proof Wednesdays, we want to make it as implementable as possible. And the way that we talk about things is like, as Nick famously says, like, it depends. What are you selling and who are you serving? And so we can talk about things in generalities, but we would obviously love to be specific. So if you're here and you're watching, just drop a comment. What do you do? And if you're watching the replay, let us know that you're watching that as well.
Yeah.
So
hashtag replay.
Oh, pardon?
I said hashtag replay.
There you go.
Right. Yep.
Ultimately, the idea that, like, kind of that post that I shared today stemmed from is the simple thing that, we talk about inside of our programs and workshops and stuff like that is we're a herd species. It's not really a secret. Like, we survive by being a herd species. We also thrive by being a herd species. And so the way that we talk about it is, as an individual, I'm constantly looking for little cues. Tiny cues is what we say. Tiny cues that I'm safe, I'm secure, I'm making the right decision. This is not going to kill me. This is not going to embarrass me. This is not going to do anything to me that I don't want done to me. And so in the context of social proof, right, everybody understands the importance of reviews and testimonials and success stories and case studies and all those things. Like, you get it. It's important. But where people kind of stop, I wouldn't say fall flat, because something is better than nothing, but where they stop is they're social proof stops at passing the BS filter. Like, do you actually get your clients' results? Right? So you show that you get your clients' results, but it doesn't pass the me filter, which is, will it work for me? Will the client results that you're showing, can I see myself in that? And so if you pass the BS filter, chances are, you're one step closer to acquiring that. I'm seeing some comments here. Cindy, I'm a life coach, help ladies simplify, declutter themselves and their lives. Awesome. Hey, thanks for hopping on. Sonia, CPA, doing accounting and tax. And so,
Sonia, just so you know, you may, depending on, when we talk, move forward and stuff, might have some really special stuff from Justin coming specifically for CPAs doing accounting and tax.
Yeah. And so a lot of social proof, a lot of reviews, hopefully, some of them don't, but hopefully will allow you to pass that BS filter. But where people stop is the me filter. And so what we talk about and our whole philosophy is the gift of going second. But it is not the gift of going second to say like, hey, look, these are my results, right? Like, hey, look, this is what I help my clients do. It's the gift of going second being given to your clients, or your prospects, of someone has gone before them, someone like them has gone before them and gotten the results that they desire. And so that's how you actually get people to buy your things, whatever it is, your accounting, your coaching program. It entirely depends on your ability to show, do people like me get the results that I'm looking for? If you can answer that question, and Nick can attest to this, your sales become effortless. It's no longer a game of convincing, and it's no longer even a game of filtering, because the me filter is really good at filtering out bad leads. Because if I don't see myself in those, I'm naturally filtering myself out. And the challenge is, for a lot of people, by not having the me filter in the first place, you end up filtering out people who you could actually help. And so, like, quantifiably, we have an offer in the parenting space, and we've been doing it for, I think, maybe about a month and a half now. So it's a brand new offer. And I would say we have more social proof for that offer than companies that have been doing this for years. And it's partly because it's obviously what we do. And so it's baked into our DNA, it's baked into our offer, but it's because we recognize that that's how we're going to scale that offer. And so the BS filter is, hey, look, Michelle, my wife and I, we've been professional filmmakers and photographers for over a decade. And I've personally helped train, at this point, probably 4,000 or 5,000 filmmakers in my life. And so I can pretty much teach anyone about making videos or taking photos. Like, there's nothing that I haven't done. And so that's my BS filter, right? I teach anything to do with images, and it's easy for me. My me filter, well, I don't have any stories of parents. So I can hang my hat on, hey, I'm a professional filmmaker, professional photographer, and I can take pretty pictures. But if you're a parent, you're going to look at it and say, well, of course you've got fancy cameras, or of course you've got models. Of course, that's $1 million film shoot. Like, there's all these like stops. And so what we focused on is the me filter in this new offer. And so, we've been doing this for a month and a half, and Michelle, we've already talked to, I think it's at this point, 6 of our members. So these are in-depth stories. And the entire goal of these stories is the me filter. It's I'm a mom with 5 kids. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm on mat leave. I use an iPad to take my photos. I don't have a fancy camera. I don't have a lot of time. I suffer from memory loss. I suffer from another ailment that prevents me from being active. My kid is 3 months. My kid is 9 months. My kid is 8. My kid needs special attention. My kid is in daycare. My kid is at home. All these me filters, right? These are filters where I can look at as a prospect, I can look at this offer and say, oh, this doesn't work for me. I can't. I'm a stay-at-home mom. There's no way I could do this. Oh, really? Well, you should meet Monique, because Monique's a stay-at-home mom too. And like you, yada, yada, yada. Oh, I've got too many kids. I have no time for this. Oh, really? You don't have enough time? You should really just hear Susan's story because she has 5 kids and look at the amazing things she's doing with her 5 kids. Right. And so when we're talking about getting people to buy, you first pass the BS filter and then you pass the me filter. If you get people past the me filter, they raise their hand and they say, I want that. Does that make sense? If you're in the chat, let us know. I see Nick is summarizing things. And so the trick then is you have these stories. Well, first you have to capture them and then you got to use them. Right. And so how do you actually make sure that people see the me that they need to see, not the them that doesn't relate to them, right? So if I am running paid traffic and I've got this great testimonial, and this is like classic, right? This is like, I see this all the time, which is this massive testimonial, right? Here's Bob. Bob is a client of mine and Bob just closed his $1 million sale or whatever. Like something that's just like astronomical, like amazing. And you think that, well, if I want $10,000 and I see $1 million testimonial, of course I'm going to sign up for that. Or if I see $1 million testimonial and I got a $100,000 client, of course I'm going to sign up because I want to ascend to the $1 million client. The fact of the matter is most people who see $1 million testimonial immediately filter themselves out and say, this is way too big for me. There's no way in the world that this person can help someone like me because I only make $10,000 a month or I only make $50,000 a month, whatever it is you do. And so the trick is, right, you've got all these me filters. How do you get people to see the story? Because if that person at $10,000 a month sees a testimonial of the person at $12,000 a month or $15,000 a month, that's a lot more attainable. Well, there's number one is if you have any sort of ability to segment, obviously that's the easiest thing. But in a lot of cases, you don't. If you're not using something like Right Message or a bucket survey, or even just like allowing people to self-select when they sign up, like giving them literally like a toggle, like tell me where you are, right? That's one simple way. The other way is what we like to say is framing and lenses. And I don't want to get too much into this because we are going to talk at length about this in tomorrow's workshop. And this is like, there's a lot to unpack here, but don't assume that people won't self-identify. By that, I mean, people are always, we go back to the beginning of this whole live stream, right? People are always looking for tiny cues. So give it to them. Don't assume that they're going to play your video, your 45-minute client interview, and be able to know which parts are relating to them. Tell them which parts. Don't assume that they should even play that button or that they're going to play that button or click that button and watch the video if the thumbnail is a man and they're a woman. Like they're not. Like you have to literally like give them as many cues as possible to say like, is this you? If so, do this. And as soon as you do that, as soon as you give people the opportunity to find those tiny cues, self-select, you are literally tapping in to the herd species mentality, which is this is safe. This will not kill me. There will not be a lion in that cave. You are not going to scam someone like me. Like all of those things go away. And so the whole point of my post today and what we've been jamming on for 20 minutes is simple. Number one, you pass the BS filter, which is hopefully you do what you say you're going to do, right? If you promise these results, you help your clients get those results. But number two is you pass the me filter. These are the types of people you help get those results so that people that are sitting on the sidelines can see themselves in those stories, raise their hand, and make your job a lot easier because you're no longer fighting with crappy clients who really shouldn't have hired you in the first place. You're no longer dealing with people who aren't really like vested in the experience and the process. You're not getting on sales calls that are just like completely draining and you're like smashing your head against your computer. Like, why is this person on this call? You are literally allowing people to self-filter themselves out while also self-identify the right ones. I'm seeing Sunny and Daryl. Sunny says it's hard to connect to something if it feels too big or too true for me. And Daryl says the me filter counteracts the yeah, but excuse, which is exactly right. Right. The, yeah, but. Yeah, that worked for Nick, but
yep.
You know, Nick's got 5 employees. I'm by myself. Or yeah, that worked for Jeff, but I mean, Jeff's been been, got 20 years of connections. Like, how would I possibly be able to do that? Right. So that's exactly right, guys.
So in that case, and for people that are just listening, it's going to sound like a broken record for people that have been here, but yeah, if you have the testimonial of, let's say, hey, I made $1 million, and you go, yeah, but Nick has 5 employees and yada yada yada, right? Having that, if you had it recorded, with maybe you helped me get my first 10 clients or hire my first employee, that's a more relatable story.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is we're waiting. A lot of us, as when we're thinking about gathering testimonials, we're waiting till we have that huge win. When in reality, that little testimonial of me being like, I hired my first employee, and it's not, and they're actually doing their job. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That piece of social proof, maybe counterintuitively, is more powerful to get people to take that next step than, hey, I made $1 million.
Yeah.
Now the $1 million strokes your ego a little bit more, right? Because you helped me make $1 million. And so what comes to mind when I'm thinking about it is like that Jeff has a great metaphor of, like, the car driving through the pitch black.
Let's hear it.
You're in pitch black, right? And what a lot of us are doing, let's say it's pitch black and you can't see in front of you, you don't know what to do, right? When you share a really, really big testimonial, you're showing a light way down there. So there is light down there, but you have no idea what is in between.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people won't take that step. If you can just act as the headlights and show the next 10 feet in front of them, they see it's safe, they'll move forward. Then you show them the next 10 feet. Right. And I've had that metaphor for years now. I did not apply it to social proof until you shared that concept of, like, you just got to show them, like, it's totally worth opting in, like social proof that, hey, I got this free lead magnet and it changed my life. Social proof that, hey, I got on the phone with Justin and he changed my life. It's like these micro steps. And while you were talking, I just had that image of, like, just being the headlights. I just show them that the next 10 feet ahead of them is safe.
Yeah. Yeah. We talk about it as like a step, right? Like, and I think we learned this concept from you, like maybe a year or two ago, but the idea of, like, most people think A to Z, right? Like, this is where I am. This is where I want to be. The fact of the matter is there's A, B, C, D, E, yeah, blah, 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 all the way between that. So if Z or Z, depending on if you're Canadian or American, is the big payoff, right? The $1 million, whatever it is for your client, the transformation, the decluttering of their life, whatever it is, there's a series of steps to get them to become a client. And then there's a series of steps to actually get to that result. And most people are focused on get to client, right? And they think that big result gets client. But the reality is there's all those steps in between. And if you, I mean, we've done a live on this, but if you are actually creating a culture of celebrating your clients, wins, successes, all those things, not only does it pass the BS and me filter, gets people in your doors, it actually gets people to stick and complete it and to then be your next big result because they have momentum. Confirmation bias kicks in. They're seeing results. They're confirming to themselves that, hey, wait a minute, this was a great decision. It wasn't a scam. This person's actually helping me. I've lost 5 pounds this week. I can lose 5 more the next, right? It's not I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 6 months. It's I'm going to lose 5 pounds this week or 2 pounds this week or whatever it is, right? And that is the difference between all these programs out there that are really, really good at enrolling people, but not really, really good at getting people results, or these services, right? You're really, really good at bringing a client on board, but their experience at the end isn't one where they're raving about you and leaving amazing reviews and testimonials or whatever, right? And so we talk about it as just the next step. So it's about matching that next story with the person one step behind them.
Yep. I'm gonna drop this before we wrap up, and before we wrap up, I'm gonna tell everybody that's still listening, or maybe catch us replay, something really cool that's happening tomorrow. But here's another thing to consider, and it's kind of a strange realization, but it makes my life better, makes everybody's life better when they realize it. If you are using testimonials of only that big, huge win, you enroll clients that by and large won't be happy. Like their expectations are kind of off until they have that big win. if you enroll somebody from that social proof that says, hey, I got my first client thanks to Justin and I'm stoked about it, the people that roll in are going to experience their expectations are set appropriately. They're not expecting to go from 0 to billionaire in 90 days. And so it's just what you're doing when you go from 0 to huge testimonial is by and large, you're attracting and enrolling people that really think they're going to have an overnight success. And it makes the client relationship really difficult.
A lot of times those people are desperate too.
Yep.
And so if one new client isn't enough, like let's say you even if you help 5 clients, like get 5 clients, whatever it is, but like if you're showing that big goal, you're getting people that are like looking for a savior. Yep. It's really hard to help people that are looking for a savior.
Yep. A lot of times they put, they maxed out their credit card to be saved in the next 90 days. And it's that kind of marketing creates a very difficult dynamic between service provider and client. It's not the client's fault. It's the expectation that the marketing set. And, so it's not the client's fault. A lot of people that are mad at their clients oftentimes should probably look at how the clients came in and what they were promised and all that stuff. But what I want to talk about, because this is just such a ridiculous thing that you're doing. You have a workshop tomorrow.
Yep.
And we went back and forth on how you're going to structure this. And from what I understand, I want you to talk about it. It's how to capture social proof, exactly like we're talking about it, every step of the way, where to put it, how to organize it. I know you built my Airtable for me. It's phenomenal. And then also because of your focus on the Parent Photo Club and really trying to reach as many people with this social proof as possible, you're just giving the operating procedures and everything, right? Like here's how you do it. Give this to a VA, it will get done, which is an incredible offer for some stupid place. Like it's under $300. And so talk about that workshop tomorrow, because it'll pay for itself 100 times over for anybody
tomorrow it's 2 hours. It's live, and it is 100% on how to create and leverage testimonials, but specifically to sell with ease, because we recognize that a lot of people don't love selling. And so this is the secret sauce, the voodoo magic that makes selling effortless. You get on, if you're enrolling via phone call, if you're doing it via messenger, whatever it is, people have already passed the me filter, and it's literally just a matter of where do I go to sign up? And so specifically, it's getting your clients on board with the process, right? Sending a message, hey, will you give me a testimonial, is not how you do it, right? Because one of the foundational things that we're going to talk about is the thing that Nick already hinted at, which is like there's ego testimonials, which make us feel good, but don't actually do a lot to drive revenue. And then there's testimonials, success stories, case studies, whatever you want to call them, that are client focused. And that starts with the specific ask, because that ask sets the tone for the entire resulting story. And so we walk through from that point, literally how to set it up, the questions to ask, how to actually have a conversation that elicits responses that pass the me filter. And then that's the capturing stage, and the leveraging stage is literally where does it go on your sales process, however you sell, webinar, sales call, website, application, it does not matter. We will literally be walking you through exactly where these go to pass the me filter test, which is the most important test. We've got some other things that we're gonna be talking about, but it's kind of a high level. And then the biggest thing, and the reason why we're doing this in 2 hours, and this isn't like some 18-hour course, is because you don't have time, and we recognize that we don't have time. This isn't something that you probably want to do, right? You're not thinking like, I need to go take a course on testimonials. So it's a 2-hour deep dive. We're going to go super deep into the things that matter, none of the stuff that doesn't. And then we have an instant delegation / implementation kit that we literally took our entire process, our SOP, we put it in this PDF, and you literally can just follow step by step by step, or you can just hand it to your VA and say, go do this, and they will do it exactly how it needs to be done. And so it's, the 2-hour workshop, the delegation kit, and then 30 days of support inside of a group. So if you have questions, you get stuck, your VA gets stuck, whatever it is, you just drop your questions there, and we're going to make sure you actually implement. Because there's nothing worse. We don't want your money if you're not going to implement, because you're not going to get the results. If you implement, you get the results. And that's exactly what we want. And so, as Nick said, it's $300 if you sign up before the workshop, or $500 if you sign up afterwards. And so the workshop is tomorrow. So you basically have a day to sign up for that $200 discount.
Yep. Ridiculous. That this is a $5,000-$7,000 value kind of offer. It's essentially, it's done. It's here's how to do it, but the actual SOPs and everything. Justin dropped a link in there.
Yeah,
if you're watching the replay or you're listening to audio somewhere, socialproofclub.com. And if you go to Social Proof Club, I'll walk through it right now, step by step. Socialproofclub.com, create and leverage testimonials to sell with ease. You click on through that, and it's less than $300.
Yeah, our goal was the pricing was literally like, what is an hour of your time worth? So if you're going to go online and Google how to get compelling testimonials, first of all, you won't find what we talk about because this is from 10 plus years of telling stories, but you will literally spend at least an hour trying to figure out all this mumbo jumbo that won't work half as good as literally just the $300 offer. If your time is worth more than $300 an hour, which I hope it is because you're an expert, then this is a no-brainer. That was our goal.
Perfect. And again, I don't, somebody actually asked me the other day, and I'll share this with everybody publicly. They said, hey, I see that sometimes you make an offer in your group or you let other people. How do I get in on that? And I said, you can't. And he's like, why? I said, I'm not being an a-hole. I will only, it's the practitioner's ethos. I will only talk about things that I actually use, I actually believe in, and I'm willing to stand behind and put skin in the game, so to speak. And I quote Justin all the time, and I use his process. So that's the best endorsement I can give, and at the price, it's a no-brainer. So check it out and share. I would love for you to drop in here and share. If you're at the workshop tomorrow, share your takeaways, and we'll be here next Wednesday. Jeff Moore just dropped in.
Awesome. Hey, Jeff.
We'll be here next Wednesday, and I will probably pull this audio because it was so actionable and educational. Probably pull this audio and drop it on the new podcast, which is Maximum Productivity and Profit. If you want to go check it out, rate it, review it, sub, that kind of stuff. So Justin, appreciate you, man. Any questions?
Looking forward to seeing you a couple days. Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, man. Are you coming in tomorrow?
I leave tomorrow. I don't get there till Friday. I'll see you Friday morning.
Awesome. Anybody that's listening that wants to come hang out in Chicago, me, Justin, Dan Nicholson, handful of neat people will be in Chicago. So come on down. But yeah, man, I'll see you tomorrow. And any other questions you have, if you're catching this replay, Justin's active in this group. Obviously, I'm active in this group. Just drop them on this thread and somebody will get around to it.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.